Guys, we're excited to do something with you guys out here in the garden, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't know how many weeks we're gonna do it, but for this week we're gonna start, and this is what we're calling the Go Project.
Go Project.
Yeah, and what Go stands for is Go Oceans. What does Go Oceans mean? Back about 7 years ago, we were working at a church in Metro DC, and one Sunday we did this song that maybe many of you heard called Oceans, and it was probably 2013. It had just come out and we were excited to do it, and by the end of it, it was like, you know, I think that might have been a little rough. I feel like we missed something. It felt like it kind of got off the tracks, and we got done with the service and we remembered it because it was so memorable that anytime any of our songs kind of went a direction we weren't expecting it to in worship, whether it just went off the tracks, we would say, uh-oh, we just went oceans. And so that's kind of where the reference came from. And just only about 2-3 months later, the service where we went off the track with the song Oceans somehow gained traction on YouTube, and we ended up with millions of views of this specific song Oceans, and it became sort of infamous in a way. And the reason it became infamous is because our drummer kind of put his own spin on the song, and he just took off in this version of the song the very first time we did it. And his name's Travell, and the way I met Travell was kind of interesting. Travell just came into the church one day of the week and just said, I'm looking for a church and just wondering if you'd like to hear me play drums. I was like, wow, that's kind of random, but go ahead. So we went upstairs in the sanctuary and he played drums for me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. You should totally come and join us. And some of the backstory behind Travell was that he just really hadn't found a church where he felt like he belonged. And we wanted to be that for him. In a lot of ways, he'd been an outcast. Not a lot of people had shown love to him over his lifetime. And he struggled just to keep friends. And people came in and out of his life. And we wanted to be a bridge for him when he had told us that a lot of churches really hadn't been a bridge for him. So I said, you know what, let's do this. And he started playing drums for us for a really long time. I think
he's a good drummer. Yeah,
and we did this for probably 3 years. But this one specific week, Travell took this song, to our surprise, and just took it a whole different direction than we were expecting. And it became infamous. Like I said, millions of views. People were commenting really positive things, like, wow, I never heard anything like that before. I'm going to try that at my church next week. And then some people were commenting not so positive things, like, what in the world was that worship leader thinking, allowing that guy to be on stage? And, you know, they just must have poor judgment. And, geez, why would they sacrifice the quality of the music to allow someone like that to be up there? And I think that was a turning point for me and for Krissy in ministry, where we just realized, hold on a second, if we are going to sacrifice being a bridge for people just so we have quality worship, just so we have quality music, that's not the gospel. That's not the gospel that we want to be a part of. We want to be a part of going oceans for people. And that's what this has become. We want to have one foot planted in the church and one foot planted in the community. And I think the scripture that really hits this so well is in 1 Corinthians 9, where it says, I have become all things to all people. And this is the Apostle Paul. I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, that I may share with them in its blessings. There's nothing better that I can think of than to be at a church where everyone is welcome. Where everyone, no matter where they've been, no matter what they've gone through, no matter how convenient it is to be with them, should be able to use the gifts they've been given. And that's what going oceans for us means.
Yeah, so during this time of, having to battle through being at home and trying to social distance, that has been a struggle for me to reach out and actually love people in a tangible way during this time. I don't want to sit here and pretend like it's been really easy. And so this is it just feels like this will be a fun little way for us to kind of let's have a dialogue throughout the week. If anyone wants to talk further about the subjects that we're going to be touching on here, these are going to be short little videos. This one's a little longer because we wanted to introduce it, but they're going to be short little videos that go along with a post on Facebook, and we just wanted to be able to have dialogue with you throughout the week. And this feels like a fun little way to do that with our church specifically, but the purpose of this is not just so that we can have dialogue. It's so that we can challenge each other to really go oceans, to love each other in creative ways. That's kind of what it boils down to, I guess. And I wanted to say this when he was talking, as the wife of the worship leader who let that happen. You guys, it was a viral video. It is a viral video, and it still makes its rounds every once in a while. Every once in a while, the video called Ocean's Drummer comes up on Facebook or whatever social media, and it makes its rounds. And people that we know, who, especially people who are worship team members at different churches, have seen this video, and they go, wait a second, that's you? Andy's in that video. Andy was the worship leader at that time. And I remember reading the comments when the video first went viral. I remember being like, oh no. And I was really upset, and I thought, this is so bad, this is so bad, this is so bad. And look at all these mean things. I was reading the comments. Look at all these mean things that people are saying about my husband and about the other people on the stage. And I just thought, this is so horrible. How can we recover from this? Which is such a funny thing now as I look back, because actually it's been such a blessing, and this has really shaped our life. Like Andy said, this has shaped our philosophy of how we want to love people. We want to have one foot firmly planted in the church, because that's our background. That's where we come from. This is where we are, right? But we want to also have another foot, our other foot, firmly planted outside, loving the people that are kind of hard to love, or loving the people that, maybe it's hard to find ways to love them or whatever. So I guess I just wanted to say that. And along those same lines, that kind of made me think of St. Francis of Assisi. His major theme of his life was to have one foot with the church and one foot with the poor. This doesn't mean, oh, someone's standing on the fence, they're on the fence, they can't decide, they're wishy-washy. It means the actual opposite of that. One foot firmly planted and one foot firmly planted. So as I was thinking about St. Francis, here's his peace prayer that I wanted to share with this video here. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. These are all these things that he says are a bridge from one side to another. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. I love that. And I hope that that can be our prayer this week. We'll attach a link to that prayer so that you guys can read it if you want to again. One of the cool things I think that we're going to be doing throughout this little series here, however long it ends up going on, is that different people from the congregation here at PCC are going to be sharing what we're calling a practice. And so a practice is something that all of us can easily do throughout the week. And this week, the very first week, we were so graciously given a practice by our own Vicki Fredrickson. And what she did was she shared with us one way that she loves the people in her community, one way that she has her foot firmly planted in a way to love. And for her, one of those big things is cooking. And so she wrote me, I don't know if you can see them, these handwritten recipes, which anyone who has cooked for any period of time in their little home kitchen knows how precious these handwritten recipes are. So first of all, I appreciate that so much. What she's given us here is her recipe for carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. And I'm just going to read you the note that she wrote me because I think it's wonderful. She said, "Dear Krissy, here's the recipe I promised. I've been making this cake for over 35 years. It is a Frederickson family favorite and has also become a firehouse favorite." She shares it with the firemen. Her husband is a fireman, and so she shares it with them. "I get requests for this cake all the time. I hope you enjoy this cake as much as we do. Nothing beats homemade because the best ingredient you add is love. God bless you, Vicki." So I just want to give a big thank you to Vicki, and we're going to be posting her recipe so that you guys can take part in it too, or you can bake whatever it is that you like to bake best to love someone.
Yeah, and then Krissy came up with this practice, prompt, and playlist. So every week we want to bring a practice, a prompt, and a playlist, which we'll share in the comment sections of this video. Okay, so the question we want to ponder is, how can you be a bridge in your community with one foot firmly planted in the church and one foot firmly planted in the community? And for us and for you, and you've done it in your life many times, I'm sure, how can that be your way of offering up radical, reckless, all pursuing the way God does, never-ending love to the people that you come into contact with?
Yeah, so like Andy said, every single week there's going to be a practice that someone from our congregation is going to be sharing. If you have a way that you are really good at loving people with, if you're really good at encouraging people with thank you notes, if you're really good at music, if you're really good at writing poetry, if you're good at anything,
fixing someone's house up.
Yeah,
you know,
anything. Fixing
surprising
a car,
people.
Whatever it is, any way that you have loved someone, that you have shown care for someone. We want you to be part of this too, and we're excited to be able to show the practices that you're already doing.
Yeah.
Just to give some encouragement for the rest of us. So the practice, the prompt. The prompt again is always going to be, there's always going to be one question or one theme that we're going to all be thinking on all week long, so that we're kind of all connected in that way. And then a playlist. So like Andy already mentioned, we're going to have a playlist with some songs every week that you can listen to whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, just hope this can be like an encouraging, positive experience, a fun experience in your week.
Yeah, yep, that's our prayer.
Yeah. We love you all, love to each one of you, and look forward to seeing those who can make it on Sunday and also virtually.
See you later.
See ya.